Section 6.3 and our first introduction to logarithms. Make sure that you write this down. So here's how you say it. Log base b of y equals x. So everyone say that. Log base b of y, okay, equals x. And this is how you're going to convert it. Okay, I'm going to show you a little trick to this. So I'm going to write it here. Log base b of y equals x. I'll do it in green. Okay. I call this the swoosh. Okay. So here's where we do the swoosh. I want you to always remember that base stays base. You're going to hear me say that a lot. Base stays base. So now we're going to convert it to exponential form. This is logarithm form. This is exponential form. So let me explain. We start with a base, and base stays base. So there's my base. I'm going to swoosh to the next one, which is this, whatever number's here. That now becomes my exponent. And that's going to equal y. So I start here. That's the next number you write, equals that number. And if you notice, it is exactly the same here. So let's do our little swoosh here. I'm going to do this in green. I start at the base. I'm going to swoosh around. I end up there. So base stays base. So what's the first number I write? 2. Okay, to what power? To the 4th equals 16. Let's see if that's true. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. Got it? Okay, let's do the next one. We're going to swoosh it around. So it's going to be 4 to the power of 0 equals 1. And that's true, because remember, anything to the power of 0 is 1. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, I didn't do it in green, sorry. Okay, this is going to be 12 to the first power equals 12. Is that true? Yes, it does. Okay, now let's do this one. It's going to swoosh it. All right, what's my base? 1/4 to the -1 equals 4. And remember what I said the negative was, which was move me. Right? It's the reciprocal. Right? The reciprocal of 1/4 is really 4. 4 equals 4. So now we're going in the opposite direction. We're going to be doing, we're going to write them as logs. Okay, so remember, base stays base. So this is going to be log 5, good, of 25 equals 2. Good. Okay, here we go. This one. Log base 10 of 0.1 equals -1. Very good. Here we go. Log base 8 of 4 equals 2/3. Okay, last one. Log base 6 of 1/216 equals -3. We're going to evaluate the logs. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make it equal x. Because in order to do our little swoosh, we have to do the x. Okay, I'm going to change it to green. I'm going to do my little swoosh. Okay, now I'm going to rewrite it. So it's going to start with the base, 4 to the power of x equals 64. Good. So here you can actually evaluate it because you know your 4s because we have a chart of them. 4 to what power equals 64? 4 to what power? 4 to the, not the second, that's 16. 4 to the third. Okay. So I rewrote 64 with a base of 4. And if you remember this from the previous lessons, the bases are the same, so we kind of just ignore them, and we find out that x equals 3. Okay, so let's do b now. I'm going to have it equal x. That's the first thing. Just write it for all of them. Okay, I'm going to swoosh this one. I will swoosh this one. I will swoosh that one. Okay, let's do the first one. Let's rewrite it as an exponent. What do I write first? 5 to the power of x equals 0.2. Okay, this one isn't as easy to see. I'm going to write this as 5 to the x equals 2/10. Oh, can I reduce 2/10? So this is really 5 to the x is really 1/5. Oh, how do I make 1/5 look like 5? Reciprocal. So 5 to the x is really 5 to the negative 1. That's the reciprocal. So what's the answer here for x? Negative 1. Okay, let's do this one. What's my base? 1/5 to the x equals 125. Okay, I know that 5 times what is 125? 5 to the third power. Good. Okay, I want this to be 5 to something power, but it's 1/5. So how do I make this the reciprocal? It's not by negative 5. We have to think of these exponents here. Remember the negative 1? So let's do 1/5 to the negative 1 x. Actually, that's not right. Let me change that. That's supposed to be 5. So 5 to the negative 1 is 1/5. So let me rewrite it so it's neater. I apologize. So this is negative x equals 5 to the third. Okay, you see how the bases are the same? So we don't need them. That means negative x equals 3, so that x equals negative 3. Okay, next one. What's my base? 36 to x equals 6. Can I change 36 to a base of 6? Yeah, what is it? It's 6 second power, but there's an x there, equals 6 to the first power. You see how the bases are the same now? So 2x equals 1, and x is going to equal 1/2.